Hello, everyone. So, I thought I'd do a really quick one today. I say quick, watch it ends up being 20 minutes, who knows. But I wanted to go over all of the different Transformer resources there are online because I get a lot of questions asking where my info comes from, where certain images come from. But I also get asked a lot like things like where do I find loose parts? Probably one of the most common questions I get is people looking to complete an old figure. So hopefully this is a video that will cover every base of that. We're going to go over some obvious sites, but if you are casual to Transformers and you just got this from searching Google or YouTube looking for a resource on how to find out about all these weird toys your son left you in the attic and you don't really know what to do with them, he says he doesn't want them, so you got to do something with them. Here is where you go and find out what to do with them. So, the easiest one to start off with is TF I mean, it's the go-to for any kind of classic information with Transformers. It's episode recaps, it's episode lists, it's voice actor lists, it is historical information out the wazoo. It is literally the first place you go to for anything Transformer. Look at this. Blitzwing is my personal favorite, but he's kind of a secondary. He's an ancillary. He's not a major character. He had one episode where he got to be the star, and he had to share that star with Astro Train. But look at how big this is. Look at how big this is. We have some of his Japanese continuity, his what I would consider an error appearance in Headmasters. An error appearance where he appeared multiple times. We'll ignore that. We'll ignore that. It's a different continuity, technically. Let's see. But yeah, like literally, like E-Hobby, Cloud, the Japanese, the TV magazine comics, like Marvel comics, every bit of fiction for Blitzwing is listed here. Few visual examples, few things. It's not complete, but some of the things that TF Wiki is missing is just plain lost media. No one has ever been able to find it for years. If it exists, if fans have uncovered it, it's here somewhere. Big Looker Storybooks Blitzwing. This is how obscure. Find Your Fate Junior Blitzwing. Yeah, you realize how many different story continuities there were. Just scrolling through one character, and this isn't even a major character, people. If I put in a Starscream, I could do a whole video just on how many different continuities Starscream exists in at one time. And it'd be an hour-long video. Yeesh. But this is what I mean. Like, this is my go-to. If I need historical information, if I'm trying to connect the dots between different characters, different fictions, if I'm trying to do something obscure like old facts about certain series, or trying to link, every version of Swerve that ever existed, this is the kind of place where I'm going. So a lot of it is just me amalgamizing a bunch of info from dozens of articles on this page into one video. And, okay, so it is the equivalent of a college student using Wikipedia to file his report. But there isn't anything bad about sharing information. Making as many aware, especially if you're in a different format than the original information. It's good to spread it around and make more people aware. So I like to report things I find on here. So that's TF Wiki. That's obvious. Now, if I want Transformer news, that's going to be another obvious resource, which is TFW 2005. That is my place of choice for Transformer news, and that's not just because I'm on the podcast. It's not a bias thing. I'm on the podcast because I loved the website before I was part of staff, and this is still my go-to place for news because this seems to be the fastest place, seems to be the most fair place when they're reporting news. Yeah, and I like the look of the website itself. Like, you just look at the format of the site, and it's not prioritizing ads. It's not it's not putting up a ton of different sidebars and all this to cramp everything down. No, it focuses on the news. Which is what I want. I want updates in this fandom, so this is what I go to. So that one's self-explanatory. Let's dive into another website. This one, not as many know about. It's been around a long time though, and I think it deserves all the attention in the world, and that is tfu.info. This is another resource I go to a lot when I need factual information about the original toy. So if we look at Blitzwing again, we can see that, yeah, we can find out very easily, can find out year, generation, faction, subgroup, size, class, function. We get examples of the original toys the way they are supposed to look. If you want to confirm whether or not your original toy is broken or not, tfu.info. They give you good examples of everything in every mode just to make sure all of your parts are there. And it'll show you the parts that are supposed to come off of it and how many of those parts you're supposed to have. If you need other things, they have tech specs available too. They have the bios, they have the numbers. They'll tell you if there's variations on the toy. They'll tell you all the different other character versions of the toy, as well as any recolors that exist of that particular toy. Now, this website does not get updated quite as often or regularly as it used to, but a resource that is still invaluable is the ID Your Figure, where if I go in here and I say, I've got this weird purple jet that I don't really recognize. Okay, so I'll click on purple and pink, and we'll go down to planes, aircraft, and space shuttles. And if I click on that, oh, hey, look. And where did it lead you? Back to me. Invaluable resource for trying to find out what this old figure is. They also identify GoBots too, which makes that a whole lot easier. All right, so if we want something a little bit extra, we can go to Botch the Crab. Botch the Crab keeps a whole lot of scanned things on file. For instance, if you want to see the tech specs in their original format, here you go. That is available on the website. Or, what I really use Botch the Crab for the most is archived box art. It's one of the best places to find, especially if you need high quality versions, it's one of the best places to actually find really quality, cleaned up, high res scans of the original box art. That is, I think the best resource that Botch brings to the table. So if you need that old artwork, and me for thumbnails, I often do. See, when I do thumbnails, especially for videos, and anytime I do a video, really, I'm trying to use stock imagery. I'm trying to use production art. I'm trying to use things that they try to spread around for the sake of advertisement. I try not to use photo gallery stuff. But for thumbnails, this stuff is perfect. So if you need to see the old box art, that's where to go. Moving on. There's a few other weird resources that I became aware of recently. There's another site. So this is this is camphortory.net/tf/specs. So Steve O. Stonebreaker's website, which does have a lot of interesting stuff. So it has text generated, just plain text specs, which is useful if you need to find I would recommend this resource to a fanfic writer. So if I need someone who was if I need someone who was a ground assault character, I just scout through. If I want to find all the scouts and put them in my story, if I want a scout who's not Bumblebee, well, Override here. Override is a scout. He's not a Bumblebee. So there's my option. So especially because since it's every tech spec for every year and faction. What you are after, if you remember one piece of a tech spec, you want to remember what it is, Control F find. If you want to find every treacherous character, every young character, every elder, every whatever, Control F. Find this character. So, you're find this word that's associated with these characters, speed. If I want all the speed characters. So that's going to help there. But they also come with an archive of books. Here's recaps of old coloring books. I believe the Ladybird books are covered in here. Yeah, they are. If you want the PDF or if you want to listen to them, they are archived there as well. So you got a lot of super obscure stuff in little sites like this, which is really cool to find. Moving on. Now, if you are having trouble figuring out how to transform a figure, I will generally go to unicron.com for that. They keep a very huge database of instructions for keeping transforming like old figures. And if you're lucky, they will also have archived the old PDF versions of those instructions, which are like super clear. They're like vector graphics. They're super clear even if you zoom them in. Great for testing out digibashes of old toys, by the way. But yeah, there's like almost 2,000 sets of instructions here. So if you need help on an old figure you don't want to break, unicron.com. Now, keep in mind, some websites like that, unicron.com has been around for a long time. They've got plenty of resources besides this. But this is what I think is the standout stuff for things that people commonly search for or commonly in need of. So, and I feel like the instruction is where I go for the most. When I need the instruction sheets the most, I go to Unicron. So that's the resource for me. Let's see. There is another one. Fort Max on tfwiki.net has also compiled an instruction archive if you want an alternative, which includes some of the Japanese stuff too. So it's nice to have like a backup just in case something happens to another, or if you want something in a different quality or style. Moving on from that, images. So the best galleries for Transformer images online is Sabertron.com. Without a doubt, that is their claim to fame, is just like archiving photos of every Transformer they can in every angle and mode they can. Great to figure out if you got something transformed correctly. Also great if, again, you need to figure out if your toy has all of its parts or if anything is broken. Now, the thing with Sabertron.com is that because they take such hard work in their galleries, it's not really good to use it for your own visual projects. I try very hard not to use Sabertron photos if I can avoid it. And then if I have no choice, I make sure that I credit them for the photo. But if I just need to see a toy, if I need a refresher on how it looks, or if I'm trying to confirm if something I remember about a toy is correct or not, Sabertron Gallery. It is, just a massive, massive resource for just visual representation of these toys. Now, for obscure info, I've talked about this website before, but it's worth talking about again because it's a fantastic website for lost media, and that is TF Raw. TF Raw includes a ton of stuff. You see right here on the front page, new promo CD download. What? They're archiving promotional CD material. But that's not it. They have scripts, storyboards, press kits, model sheets. Model sheets are great little resources if you need to see, like, if you need to like compare, like, if you need to look at scale, if you need to look at like the basic of how the Transformers should look, like that's all available there. And then what I love, the stuff that I talked about a lot was just character design art, where you get to find out a lot of what they originally thought they were going to be able to include in toy, and a lot of what they originally concepted. When Baboom used to have like a rider and like a dragon mode thing, like things like that, or like a chest burster grapple gimmick, that kind of thing. And I love going back and finding these things. I love like all that original stuff. Like, it's fascinating to me. And then you get like commercials, old, referential material, just lots and lots of stuff. And they have a YouTube channel as well that also shows off a lot of like old commercials or a lot of old promo, especially promos that are like lost on VHS or DVD somewhere, like super obscure stuff they archive. So fantastic resource for information that most people don't know about and don't know how to find. But if you really want to know the origin point of a lot of Transformer stuff, that's the site. Lucky Draw. We use this website as well because I did a video for Lucky Draw Transformers. Now, considering that Lucky Draw toys are like limited anywhere between like 50 to 20 to 10 to 5 to even 1 in existence, the fact that one website has done so much work to gather all of them up, to own so many of them themselves, and actually produce galleries so we can actually have a visual record of all of these like Which, keep in mind, like what you're seeing on screen right now represents the rarest Transformers that exist, because they were never intended for mass production. They are one-off prize pieces. So, you're looking, like, in this one screen, you are looking at tens of thousands of dollars in Transformers, maybe even more than that, just in this one shot. And this website covers all of that and tries very hard to keep track of how it was done, how many versions, how many how many pieces were released for each one, when it was, like how they were distributed. A lot of that information, again, really hard to come by information, all in one spot, which is great to have if you need a specific thing. If you're looking for like the info on the rarest Transformers ever, right there. And then one that I think is the most common question. How do I find pieces? How do I find parts for Transformers? Well, then you're looking at transformerland.com. As far as I know, this is the only website out there where you can not only buy individual Transformer parts, but you can also identify them. See, this is what I find when I put in black G1 gun. And, these are the things that come up. So, it's also a great resource for identifying parts. And that's so easy. It's so easy to forget what gun goes with who, what missile goes to what launcher. This is the website to keep track of all of that. So that is the best place to go for any of those little parts that you need to figure out where they go. If they don't have it, and if you're looking for a very specific part or a very rare part, well, I'm sorry, there is no magical leprechaun that brings it to you. That you just go to eBay. I wish there was something better than that, but no. You just try, go to eBay and hope for the best. But that, my friends, is all of the Transformer resources that I typically use for all of my needs, and I hope this helps you discover a few that you may have missed out on or maybe didn't know about. Obviously, some are easier to know about than others, but like I said, I want to make sure this list covers what a casual viewer would also need, as well as what a connoisseur would need. So hopefully everyone got something out of this. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned something. Go educate, learn, because the more knowledge you have, the better you are at all of this in the Transformers realm. And expanding your knowledge is never a bad thing. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.